When I was 7 years old, I told my family that when I grew up, I wanted to be Michael Jackson. And they all laughed at me. My brother says, "You can't be Michael Jackson, that's impossible." Man, that hurt. Luckily, my mom did damage control. She pulled me to the side and said, "Marky, you can't be Michael Jackson. But if you want to be like Michael Jackson, you can. Anything is possible. Sometimes the path to get there is hidden, but we start by asking ourselves, how can I? When you do, you never know which dreams may come true." So I gave it a shot. I asked myself, how can I sing like Michael Jackson? The next chance I got, I joined choir at my elementary school. I loved singing. And while I never quite reached Michael Jackson's status, singing became a lifelong passion of mine. And I would sing and speak in front of thousands of people across the country. So I say that's close enough. Thank you, Mama. Madam Toastmaster, fellow members, and guests. My mom's words, "Ask, how can I?" would affect me much more than she had anticipated. Fast forward 20 years. I just finished the last summer class to finish my bachelor's degree. I felt so proud of myself. I strutted all the way down to the academic advisor's office where I was going to pick up my diploma that the graduate school was waiting for. That smile got quickly wiped off my face when the academic advisor told me, "You don't have the correct history credits. You can't graduate." I said, "What? I'm supposed to start graduate school in a month." As I began to melt down, I heard my mom's voice in the back of my head saying, "Marky, ask, how can I? How can I get those credits?" "Oh, that reminds me. You can get those credits. You just have to test out and take the final exam." Just pass the final exam? It sounded awful, but what choice did I have? It was a path. That same day, I signed up to take the necessary final with 6 days to prepare. The textbook that was required for this class was 500 pages. I asked myself, how am I going to read this huge book? I drank so much caffeine, my heart almost exploded. But I read that book in 5 days. The next day was the test. I had to score 55 on it in order to pass. I scored 57. And I said, "Thank you, Mama." By not listening to that advisor's limiting beliefs and instead asking, how can I was able to find a hidden path to my goal. But this wouldn't be the most important use of my mom's wisdom. To tell that story, we have to go back to my childhood. You see, ever since I was young, I knew that I was adopted. My parents were always very upfront about it. And let me tell you, I had the greatest parents a kid could ask for. But even though I cherished my parents, there were times that I would lie awake in bed at night and stare up at the glow-in-the-dark stars on my ceiling and wonder if my birth parents ever thought of me. Wondered what they looked like. I wondered if they knew what a great life I had. And I tried searching for them too, but there are laws in my home state that prevented me from learning even so much as their names. But when I turned 30, I was feeling ready and confident to find out who my birth parents were. I put my mom's wisdom to the test one more time, and I said, how can I find them? I would start where all great journeys begin. Google. Google told me about a service that can test your DNA, and it can match you for how closely you're related to every other member on the service, for how closely related they are. So for $200, I did it. And what I found out is that I have hundreds of first cousins. Excuse me, I had hundreds of fourth cousins. It was a dead end. But 2 years go by, and a woman from that service messages me. And she says, Mark, this website tells me that we're first cousins. Who are you? First cousins? I poured my entire adoption story out to her. As she replied, Mark, I'm so excited to tell you this. I'm your biological great aunt. Your birth father's name is Keith. Your birth mother's name is Patty. After a lifetime of questions, I'm finally getting answers. It wasn't long before I had Patty's address, and she didn't know that I had it or that I was looking for her. It took me months of building up the courage before I finally wrote Patty a letter and sent it off. After torturous days of waiting, I get a text message from an unknown number. It said, Mark, I got your letter. Can you talk? I could hear my heart pounding in my ears as I stared at my phone. Ladies and gentlemen, asking, how can I, brought me to this moment. It may seem silly how simple this principle is, but it's astonishing at how powerfully it can affect your life. I can, I can't. These are choices we make every day, but they're choices. And which will you choose? I can't, with limitation and stagnation. Or, how can I? Which is I can. That's limitless possibilities. What is it that you want? What are you searching for that you think is impossible? I'm here to tell you that if you want to be like your idol, ask, how can I? If you have someone in your life who's telling you that you can't achieve your goals, ask, how can I? If you have some far-fetched dream and you have no idea how you'll ever achieve it, ask, how can I? Because when you do, you never know which dreams may come true. Call. Thank you, Mama. Hi, Patty. Madam Toastmaster.